Ben Simmons want out of the 76ers and what Team Brass tried to do. Ben Simmons let it be known that he wants out. In a meeting with 76ers brass last week in Los Angeles, Simmons told team co-managing partner Josh Harris, president of basketball operations Daryl Murray, general manager Elton Brand, and coach Doc Rivers that he no longer wants to remain a Sixer, according to multiple sources. Sources said the three-time All-Star also does not intend to report to training camp. A team spokesman declined to comment. So basically, Ben Simmons says, I no longer want to be with the 76ers, and even though I'm under contract, I'm not coming to training camp. It's what he's saying. Wow, that is amazing leverage a player has over a franchise. But you know, Josh Harris, the owner of the 76ers, are not going to stand for it. Most likely there's going to be fines, but there's going to be fines directed at Ben Simmons. But as I read this article further, it seems that he doesn't really care. Let's see. For the second time since December, the Sixers are unsuccessfully trying to trade Simmons, whose trade value has diminished. At the beginning of last season, they tried to send him to the Houston Rockets in exchange for James Harden. The Rockets ultimately traded Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden for Ben Simmons. Interesting. The Sixers are having a tough time finding a team to meet their lofty trade demand. Yes, the Sixers are asking for a king's ransom for Ben Simmons, and guess what? The league says, no, we're not giving it to you. You're wildin'. The organization does not want to trade Simmons for less than what it believes is fair market value. The Four told Simmons they wanted him to report to the start of training camp on September 28 and be a part of the team with shooting guard CJ McCollum before the start of training camp. That trade would make sense for both teams. In addition to fulfilling needs, the players have similar salaries. Simmons will make $33 million next season, while McCollum will receive $30.8 million. The problem is both teams might think they should get more in return. McCollum, 29, could be the best option, a good pickup right before training camp with all things considered. In 528 NBA games, he has averaged 18.9 points and shot 39.8% on three-pointers. However, the 8-year veteran out of Lehigh has never been an all-star in the tough Western Conference. Basically, McCollum could actually be an all-star if he was to play in the Eastern Conference. But Ben Simmons would have a hard time trying to make the all-star team if he was to go over to the Western Conference, because let's be honest, the Western Conference. But a source said money will not play a role in the decision making for Simmons. Yes, because he got plenty of it. Who has 4 years and $147 million remaining on his 5-year deal. Literally, he just went through 1 year. He has 4 years left, and it's worth $147 million guaranteed money. So you could find him all you want. You could find him for 5 games, 10 games, 15 games. Guess what? He has a lot of money coming in the bank, so he's pretty much fine. He wants out. He's probably going to get his wish out of the 76ers. Plus, finding Simmons could strain the Sixers' relationship with his agent, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports. Paul has a who's who of clients, players the Sixers might be interested in pursuing down the road in free agency. So basically, here's the catch-22. You embarrass Simmons and you continue to find him. Guess what? Rich Paul's clients are going to look at it from their player's perspective. Hey, why are you violating him like that for? Why are you holding back his money for? We may not want to come to the Sixers if that's how you're going to treat players in the future if we ever come over to you. So yeah, that's definitely interesting predicament the 76ers has now put themselves into. When asked specifically whether he thought Simmons would come back at all, a source responded no resoundingly. None of this should come as a surprise. As the Inquirer noted on July 26, if Simmons really wants out, he could opt out to be disruptive or not show up for training camp. The tactic has worked for many elite professional athletes across sports who want to be traded. Basically, it's funny. In the 2018 playoffs, he called out Gerald Dudley. He was trying to go out Gerald Dudley, but Gerald Dudley called him out for who he was. He was just an average player in a half-court set. In transition, when he gets the ball, he's able to move as quickly as possible. But when teams lock up and put him in that half-court set or foul him a lot and send him to that free throw line, he's really ineffective. Ben Simmons' game is more of the old NBA where Shaq was dominating the paint and the game was a bit slower. But now the game is a lot faster. Everybody from the 5 is shooting the 3 ball. Ben Simmons can't shoot. He can't really shoot free throws. It's today's modern day NBA game. It's very difficult for him to really thrive. So it's why he's having the issues he's having. And being traded, it's a long shot. I'm gonna tell you this, man. He might as well try to go to the Golden State Warriors. Maybe they'll fix his jump shot, make him better. Who knows? On August 9, ESPN analyst Kedrick Perkins said Simmons is willing to hold out of training camp as long as it takes to get traded. Yes, he's willing to hold out because he's making a lot of money. Time will tell if the 25-year-old report or if the team avoids what is bound to be a circus-like atmosphere by trading him in the weeks leading up to camp. The belief around the league is that the Sixers have been holding out for 6-time All-NBA point guard Damian Lillard to request a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers. But Lillard said, "I'm not leaving Portland, not right now at least," during an Instagram live stream last Wednesday. Yes, they're not getting Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons. It's just not going down. It's just not going down. One is on a super max contract and one is just on a max contract, and it's just not going down. Damian Lillard wants to win a championship. The Sixers do offer him that opportunity of winning a championship and actually going to the conference finals and actually winning a game in the conference finals. But it's up to Damian Lillard at the end of the day, and I don't know if he wants to go to the 76ers, because if he does, the move could be made right now. Ben Simmons could go over to the Portland Trail Blazers. It's stacked with talented players, just stacked, and it's just hard to really crack the All-Star game. Oh man, okay. League sources believe the Sixers will have a tough time getting what they perceive as fair market value under the circumstances. Think about 3 months ago when the Sixers are willing to give up Ben Simmons. You are like, let's see what we have to do to get him, said a Western Conference executive who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Now the Sixers' Ben Simmons says he refused to play for the Sixers. He wants to go to 3 California teams. There's so much bad blood between him and the team. The executive said teams are not willing to give in to the Sixers' steep asking price, knowing they have to move Simmons. Basically, they're playing smart. They're playing the waiting game. They have to move Simmons, and they're not going to answer to their demands. The kid said he's not going back. The executive said, "I'm not giving you what you're demanding." They really messed this up. Yes, they really did. Doc Rivers made that comment. Joel Embiid made that comment. Let's go to those comments. Let's see. A source believes the devaluing of Simmons began with Rivers' comments following the Game 7 loss to the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals on June 20th. That's when the coach, who has been one of Simmons' biggest supporters and defenders, was asked by the Inquirer's David Murphy if the number 1 pick of the 2016 draft was capable of being a point guard on a championship caliber team. I don't know the answer to that question right now. Rivers responded on a night when Simmons finished with 5 points, 13 assists, and 8 rebounds, and was not on the floor for the final 40 seconds of the 103-96 loss. Yes, he scored only 5 points in an elimination game, Game 7 of the semifinals against the Atlanta Hawks. Because of Ben Simmons' ineffectiveness, the Hawks were able to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But either way, he felt like he was buried. Honestly, Ben Simmons didn't show up. He told the truth. He was frank. But sometimes the truth is not don't always need to be told. He attempted just 4 shots, making 2. For the 4th straight game, Simmons did not attempt a shot in the 4th quarter. He played timidly, appeared fearful of going to the foul line, where he shot 33%, 14 for 45 shots for the Atlanta series after shooting 35% in the first round against Washington. Wow, abysmal numbers. That became apparent with 3 minutes, 29 seconds remaining, the Sixers trailing 88-86. Simmons drove to the basket past Danilo Gallinari, but passed up an open dunk underneath the basket, dishing the ball to a teammate who was fouled by John Collins. The teammate missed one of the free throw shots. Imagine if it would have been Ben Simmons going right for it and dunking the ball. Yeah, definitely, but he was just too scared. His confidence was just too rattled. The day after wavering, Rivers did say that Simmons was salvageable. He said the Sixers would put together the right type of off-season workout plan to help correct Simmons' shooting deficiencies, but a source said Simmons has not participated in a Sixers off-season workout plan. If you want to get better, you should be practicing and mending your difference. You make $147 million. There are people who struggle, who make $725 an hour, $1325 an hour, $50,000 a year. You make $147 million and yet you can't be professional and show up to work. That to me is a wimp. That is a wimp, a crybaby, and that's Ben Simmons. The source believes it will be tough for Simmons to have a working relationship with the team moving forward. At the same time, the team isn't trying to let its multifaceted player go for little in return. The Sixers would definitely have a lot of holes to fill by getting rid of Simmons. In addition to being the point guard, Simmons is a 2-time NBA All-Defensive player, a 3rd-team All-NBA selection, a small ball center, and a reserve power forward. Can one envision Simmons returning to the Sixers for 2 months just to raise his trade value? With all that heat he'll likely receive from the Sixers fan, he might benefit from a change of scenery. I think he would benefit from a change of scenery because he's done a lot of things that's basically messed up his image and his reputation, especially by not partaking in the off-season exercises and workouts that the Sixers have set up for him to get better, so that way he could put this ugly mess behind him. Instead, he didn't want to be a professional. He chose to opt to staying in his apartment, going to the gym, taking some jump shots, hopefully maybe it goes in. But this guy, $147 million, $145 million, and he's acting like this. There are people who are dying and sick, who went to work barely making any money, who have to deal with horrible bosses, and who are struggling, and they show up to work and be professional. But Ben Simmons, who makes $145 million, can't even put this ugly situation behind him and get his paycheck, and get better as a man, as a professional for the fans of the 76 of the Philadelphia. It is what it is, and that's my stamp on this. Ben Simmons winning out. He wants out. Guess what? Let him out. He thinks going to another team will make him better. Man, he's been in the league for 7 years and he can't make free throws and he can't shoot. So, and your athleticism can only hold you for so long.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. This has been another sports telecast about the NBA by Jeff from BKJMac TV. Again, thank you for watching. Good night, folks.